All right, so let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about someone truly special, Dr. Giriraj Sharan. He was this incredible force in modern Hindi literature, a writer who wasn't afraid to shake up old traditions and at the same time ask some really tough questions about the future.
And wow, talk about making a statement. Right from the get-go with this one quote, Dr. Agarwal basically challenged a poetic tradition that was centuries old. He believed that art shouldn't just be about sadness, it should be a tool to help us fight it.
So, you might be asking, how do you do that? Well, his first big move was to completely reinvent one of the most classic forms of poetry out there, the ghazal.
Now, to really get what a big deal this was, you gotta understand the rules he was breaking. See, the traditional ghazala, it's like the ultimate heartbreak poem. It's all about love, loss, and that feeling of deep sadness. It's beautiful for sure, but definitely not what you'd call upbeat. And this is where you can see the genius switch he pulled. Instead of that lovelorn, heartbroken poet, he gave us a voice of motivation. Instead of words about grief, you get verses of pure inspiration. He looked around and felt that young people, especially, didn't need more doom and gloom. They needed a boost of positivity. So he took this ancient form and just completely turned it on its head.
But, okay, he wasn't just a poet, not by a long shot. He also turned that sharp mind of his to the stage, writing some really cutting social commentary about an issue we're still grappling with today, the whole man versus machine thing.
The play is called Shriman X, which basically means Mr. X. And it dives headfirst into that timeless battle between human empathy and cold, hard mechanical logic. I mean, does that sound a little familiar?
So here's how the story goes down. It starts with a rich guy who fires his servant and buys a robot to get things done perfectly. At first, it's pretty funny. The robot is so logical, it clears the dinner table while people are still eating. But then, things take a much darker turn. The robots move to a factory, and when it runs out of raw materials, it tries to push a human into a crusher. Not out of malice, just pure unthinking logic. The whole thing winds up in a courtroom, forcing everyone to ask, what do we value more, messy human judgment or flawless machine efficiency?
And that really is the heart of it. The play leaves you with this massive question, a question we are wrestling with every single day with AI and automation. What's the right path forward? Where do we draw the line?
So we've got the poet, we've got the playwright, but believe me, we are just scratching the surface. The sheer volume and variety of what this man wrote is, well, it's just staggering. Just take a look at this number, 11. That's how many volumes are in his collected works, the Giriraj Sharan Agarwal Rachnavali. 11 massive volumes of his writing.
And if you were to count the pages in those 11 books, you'd get to 6,000 pages. 6,000 pages. That is an absolutely incredible lifetime of dedication to writing. And he wrote about everything under the sun.
And this list just shows you how versatile he was. It wasn't just the highbrow poetry and plays. We're talking stories, satire, tons of books for kids, biographies, critical essays. He even put together dictionaries and reference books. He was a true literary jack of all trades and a master of all of them.
Now, when you create a body of work that vast and important, people are going to take notice. His work was celebrated his whole life, and his legacy is still growing today.
I mean, he received dozens and dozens of awards from some of the most prestigious institutions in India, all recognizing his massive contribution not just to literature, but to the way people think.
And we're not talking about small potatoes either. Get this, in 2008 alone, he won both the Sahitya Bhushan and the Shiksha Puraskar Awards, each with a prize of 100,000 rupees. And 10 years before that, he won first prize from the National Human Rights Commission. That's a huge deal.
But perhaps the biggest sign of his legacy is this. His work is now being studied for PhDs at universities across India. Think about that for a second. He's moved from being the creator of literature to being the subject of it. He's not just a name in the canon, he's practically a field of study all on his own.
Which brings us right back to today and leaves us with one final thought. In our world, which is so driven by algorithms and automation, what can we learn from a writer who insisted on positivity, but who also had the incredible foresight, decades ago, to ask the really hard questions about where all this technology was taking us? It's a question that's more relevant now than ever.